and she like has a little like folder of all these like
shut
ideas.
up.
I'm like, do it. Like, cool teacher, she's there. 5, 6, and like she's really helping
No
my
way.
baby, like,
Wait.
Life to pursue goals and dreams.
I'm like, this
is
girl's still
before
talking.
children are
Personally, all I want is a successful spouse who
Are you
makes
trying to
more,
manifest me,
doesn't
baby?
really
Aaliyah, you trying to manifest me?
very saturated. It's very hard to be successful.
She's like, yup. It always be the broke bitches. That's why you working 3 jobs, bitch. I am offended. Why did they not call me up to be in this video? And not as a minimum wage guy either. As a millionaire. Look. I may not have the money, but I got the mindset, which theoretically is worth more than the money. It's like, look. Would you rather 500,000 or would you rather eat with Jay-Z? That dumbass
grinding every
question.
second of the day.
There are so many people that work so hard and they are where they're at and they can't get out of that. They aren't able to. They don't have like the resources to be able to get out of that.
It's not about working hard because that's so vague. It's about,
Nah.
I genuinely think, how much do you really want this?
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like success is luck based. I feel like everything in life is very serendipitous. It's not like yes, hard work does play a factor, but there are people in this world that work hard and gain nothing out of it. It's sad. Think about like that one girl who Katana streamed that she's been streaming for like 3 years or something like that, and niggas just now recognize her. If it wasn't she got lucky because Kai was doing his Mafia-thon, bitch, she would have never gotten no award. She would have just been streaming, just been chilling. Unknown.
Welcome back to Middle Ground.
I
I'm
hate
John,
this
the host
nigga.
of Radical Empathy. I will be moderating today's discussion, but
They
today,
need to
so
find
our
someone
cast is
else
all
because this
female.
nigga's way too
Be
passive.
rich. If you work hard, you'll be rich. Agree or step forward?
I would stop it, but I already kind of explained myself. My answer is no to that if you work hard now.
When I like think about hard work in my brain, it genuinely goes to like janitors, like fast food workers. Like that is a grind. That is hard work. What I genuinely do not consider hard work, but I want it so bad.
I lift
Not
100
labor,
to
but-
120 pound dogs into the tub. And then after I'm done washing
That's
them, I
heavy.
lift them back out onto the ground.
That's heavy.
It's hard work. You got to be dedicated and you got to love what you want to do. There's working hard physically, like doing physical labor, and then there's working hard in consistency, and then there's working hard with intelligence, like working smarter, not harder is kind of the term people use. But I think a lot of people are consistent because they kind of are forced to be consistent. You kind of have to wake up and do what you got to do because you have bills to pay and a life you want to live. But a lot of people are working consistently and staying in the same place versus like, okay, my game plan is I'm going to work hard at this so that I can get to this position, which will take me to here, to here, to here. And I don't know, I think when you have the ability to conceptualize what that looks like for your long-term state, then that's where the working hard does lead to you being rich in several areas. But I think a lot of people are consistent in their work, but that doesn't mean they're actively trying to get out of being in the same financial position that they
But
are.
here's what I'm confused in. Didn't all these girls, is this not like agree? This isn't disagree, right? Didn't agree, like I agree with the question, you work hard, you'll be rich. Theoretically, all 3 of them said no. Well, the girl talking about lifting dogs, she probably said, yeah, but she definitely said no. She said, you're not working smart, you're just like, you know what I'm saying? And she said no too. So I'm a little confused, but
And I feel like a lot of it has to do with risk. Like if you have this grand idea or you want to do this, you can do it, but it's going to take a lot of risk, and that's really scary for a lot of people. And you know, like if you want, like for me, I started multiple businesses, and when I did, I had to pour a huge chunk of money, and that's such a risk. Like for example, I bought a nail salon, and it failed. Method? And I poured so much money into that, and then I just had to, all right, buy money, like throw it down the toilet. So, you know, you have your wins, you have your losses. I've had my losses and I've had my wins, and that's just kind of how it goes.
No risk, no reward.
All right, bring in our disagreeers.
No reward. Okay.
I feel like the statement that you made.
I like her fashion, no cap. And I like her skin, and I like the way she got her hair done.
About like
I
it's
just
how
like her,
bad
period.
you want
You
it.
feel me?
I feel like I could say like, I mean, I know so many people that want to get out of like where they're at, and they want to so bad, but they can't, and it's just hard for them. And I mean, like, immediately what comes to my mind is like my parents, and then that goes hand in hand with.
You know what I would say if I was gonna be raising her up? I'd probably like say if I was like texting her on Instagram, I'd throw a joke like, "Oh, your earrings match my glasses." Am I not wearing glasses? Oh shit, this is what my glasses look like. I'd be like, so I'd like make some creative ass joke with it.
They became parents, they can't just stop doing what they're doing. You know, they can't.
Do
like
they
my
have
mom
her
is a
Insta
preschool
in their
teacher,
bio?
and my dad is a contractor. And my dad's the smartest person I know. My mom's the most driven person I know, and they both like could do so much more with what like they are, like the gifts that they've been given in life. And like I know they could work so much harder. They want it bad, like work like more than anybody else to be out of where they're at, but like they can't. Like it's just like they just can't stop. And like you're mentioning, you bought a nail salon and it tanked, and sorry to hear that. Okay. But like we don't, like our family wouldn't have had like the money to just let that fly out the window. Like they couldn't take that risk, because if they take that risk, we're done.
Yeah.
Like we don't have that sort of like resource to be able to even
no risk, no
jump
reward.
into that.
Do you think that, to piggyback kind of off what you were saying, do you feel like your career and life being able to hit its absolute potential stops at having kids?
No.
What?
I'm just saying like that for like my parents specifically, because they came to my mind, and I was like, what are things that are stopping them? And that's the fact that they're parents, and that my mom's like is like a very nurturing like mother. Her number one goal is like she wants to see her kids succeed, so she'll never sacrifice herself. She's never gonna like
talking about her life.
Stop like caring for us so that she can do what she wants to do. Like she's sacrificing herself for us. And so like I talk to her all the time about like, Mom, like you could do so much more. Like you can, you know, like she wants to like her little dream she's been up.
So
and
how
she
do you know
wants
who's
to, like,
Team Millionaire and who's like
and
the
stuff,
minimum wage?
and like she is so good at it. And she like has a little like folder of all these like ideas. And I'm like, do it. Like cool. Like she's a teacher. She's there 5, 6 at night. Like she's trying to help
No
me.
way.
Like,
wait.
Life to pursue their goals and dreams.
I'm like, this
is
girl's still
before
talking.
children or before marriage. Like, do you think it's when someone is one
Stop
in themselves
asking her
and
questions.
doesn't, or just
Yo,
like for
the one time I want this guy to do his job, he's not locking in, bro. End this conversation.
all of you, kind of that question?
But when this nigga's arguing, when this
it
nigga's bringing
can, like,
entertainment,
happen
he
before
doesn't.
There are things before I like, even think about doing successful kids, whatever.
Wait, actually,
but
let me
once
listen.
we get a job. Like,
Let me listen.
see-
If I deem it to be
I mean, I
foolish,
think
I'll
it can like happen before you have children. Seems to me to be a good time to really try to pursue, because you don't have other things that you're worried about and like tying you down to like deal with. And like so like that's obviously like I want to get done with all of my schooling, get a job, everything before I get married, before I have kids, because that just seems like it's gonna hold me down. I'm like, I can't like even think about doing that right now. But I mean, there's obviously the cases where people get super successful after like that. I mean, what, like 40s, 50s, wherever they're at, like, and they've already had like 3 or 4 kids, whatever. But I don't know. I don't really hear about too many people that have like it can happen a lot before. That people are willing to
the bad
take
bitch,
that
and
risk
she's
when they
minimum
have
wage.
a
I would have never guessed that. Oh my god, the bad bitch is minimum
think
wage.
that people are willing to take that risk when they have a child, especially because you're bringing an entire human being into the world.
No,
so
that's a responsibility.
And it's just like you hear it from every person who's like a new parent or just like a parent in general, is that their entire mind and everything has changed. Their entire world has changed because they have this new human being, and of course they're not going to want to pursue something that is so rocky and like take a big risk when they have such a valuable asset. Not to call a child an asset, but you know what I mean. So I think it's just taking risks. People aren't going to take them as much. It's kind of like have children.
Your failure is their failure in a sense.
Yeah, like you can completely ruin their entire life if you like really mess up.
Type shit.
But I think the reason why I stayed back is because I think I have seen
it happens.
so many hard workers
in my life and their work just not be propelled. I feel like a lot of people have luck on their side when they have success, and that doesn't necessarily, like when people take risks, there's always a bad outcome. Like I am so thankful that you were able to share your story about your nail salon. Apologies, but there are more stories that don't get out.
She said, at least I got the money to spend.
Because there are
okay.
so many like failed risks.
What if she just said
we
that?
don't hear those stories a lot. And those people can be the hardest worker you ever know, and their work just, doesn't take them anywhere.
I think it's important to remember, though, that some people's goal is to be a mom.
Right.
My mom, for instance, she loves being a mom. She'll do anything for her
Millionaire.
kids.
I was
most
not gonna guess
minor inconveniences. And she's like, she said, what? I'm on my way, So it's like, I think for my mom specifically, she's not upset that she can't do both, that she can't chase her dreams and be a mom, because being a mom is her dream, and it's enough for her. So I think it's not really a negative thing.
I feel like we've talked about everything but answering the question. With this group that disagrees, a whole lot of, I don't know.
Belief is like, it's not about working hard, it's about working strategically. And when I started and I was doing the events, that was working hard. It was a lot to stand up for 8 hours and continuously pitch to people, and it's tiring and it's exhausting, and that's working hard. But I had a cap on the amount of sales I could make, because there's only a certain amount of people at the events that you can sell to. And so I thought, okay, let me try to work strategically. So I started a website so that I don't have to be limited to how many people I can reach, and that allowed my sales to grow. So I think like sometimes we think we need to work hard, but sometimes it's like you need to think of a strategy that will be able to push your sales or your clientele or whatever it is, so that you're not always working for 9 hours and being exhausted, and then you come home and you could have only made $100 from that day, And I've seen a lot of people who work multiple jobs and they're exhausted, but they can only get paid a certain amount, salary-wise, and all those hours you put in doesn't necessarily get you to a millionaire status.
When I was in high school, my parents told me I couldn't get a job. And that was just like, it forced me to look for ways to make money outside of a job. So I did like everything you could think of in the book. Like I resold shoes and jewelry and clothes and Popeye's chicken sandwiches, and like, just anything that you could think. I was doing everything. And then I'd be on YouTube and I'd look at like a social media marketing agency or drop shipping or trading or like whatever it was, and I never really quit, because I was like, I have to figure out a way for this to work, because I can't get a job. So in a weird way, I've never had a job in my life. I was just kind of thrown into business.
The fact that parents said you can't get a job.
Why didn't your parents want you to have a job?
Because my sisters, I'm not to expose them here, but they got jobs, and then, like getting a job makes you feel like you have the sense of independence, and so they got super confident, and they were, I don't know, staying out late or like really distracted from school, hanging out more with friends, going out to eat a lot, and spending the money. And I think our biggest control that our parents have on us is the financial provisions that they set for us, and they were able to kind of supersede that. So when it came to me, because I was the third daughter, they were like, yeah, Kelly, it's not happening.
That's so interesting. I was told the same thing. I was told that I couldn't get a job. I was like, I want to work at Cold Stone. And my mom was like, you're young. You should just focus on school. And I wonder if there's a connection between entrepreneurs being told when they're young, like, wait, don't get a job. I mean, your reasoning was different, but my mom was thinking, once you get a job, you're kind of entering into adulthood, and it kind of shifts your mentality of like, I have to get a job, I have to work, and she wanted me to have a little bit more time to decide what I wanted to do. So I wonder if you get a job when you're younger, if that kind of holds you back from chasing your dream.
Forces you to get used to the pattern. That's a really good.
I was actually the exact same way. My dad's like, you're not allowed to have a job in high school because you need to focus on school and high school, and then after high school you can get a job. So what I did was literally I would make like bracelets and sell them to my classmates, to the point where I got in trouble at school for selling stuff at school, but I still made over like thousands of dollars just doing that, because I'm like, I've always had that business mentality in me, and I've always wanted to do that. So I'm like, all right, if you're not going to let me work.
This is actually motivation. I like this video. I like this. Despite all my hating, I love this video.
Did you guys work jobs in high school?
Yeah, I was told as soon as I turned 14 I needed to make my own money.
What was your first job?
I was a babysitter. So that is like so crazy to hear. I've never experienced my parents ever telling me to not get a job. It has always
No
been,
cap.
oh, you're able to get a job, go get one. I started babysitting when I was 14. I started working at a restaurant when I was 16, and then went to college. Now that I'm in college, I work in the recreation department. I also caregive for disabled and elderly people. And so that's my current job. But
she's gonna get to yapping.
My
I'm already
mom
know.
understand the worth of $1 and call me and do it myself.
My fault. She just does not stop talking. Like, you have to understand. It's not me being a dickhead. It's just
before we go any further,
I'm just trying to.
It is exhausting.
So we're gonna reset.
Hey, before we go any further, we want to take a moment.
Yeah, I don't do good in these settings. Like, if someone's yapping, I'm cutting them off. Like, if it was a real life situation, like, we can't let you keep doing what you want.
Our next prompt is, Gen Z expects higher pay than they deserve. Will they agree?
Higher pay than they deserve. I disagree. I feel like companies have been so used to people like needing them that they think they can just do whatever they want. Nigga, how do I tell you? This is not the Great Depression. If you will not pay me, I will leave and get another job. And it's not that we expect more than we deserve. Is that we expect to be paid our worth. That's all it is to it. Yeah, we expect a lot versus like our parents who like probably don't expect shit. But like, nigga, I expect to be paid my worth. Fuck you, nigga. Cause how do I tell you time is money? You're not just gonna take my time like that.
Careers, please step forward.
Nobody else? We live in an internet era where
That girl
everyone
just looks
deals
like
with
she
the art of
has so
comparison. We
much to
live
say.
in an
She just looks like she has so much to say. And you know what? You can say it to me. DM me. My
internet
Instagram, Diro, DIRO 26.2. You know what I'm saying?
Era
DM me, shawty.
where everyone deals with the art of
I'll listen to all
comparison.
of it.
And everyone kind of wants something so easily because of the fact that we see other people getting it so easy. You see somebody post something and it goes viral overnight, and whether or not they had a product that either leads to them getting a lot of followers, and then once they get a lot of followers, it'll also lead to them getting a lot of sales, or vice versa. And so what happens is you get a lot of people who have become so social media enthralled that they don't put enough time into actually doing what they want to do. They spend a lot of time in like analysis paralysis, which is like, I want to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this,
all these
but they never
choices,
actually
you
do
choose
it.
to do none of it.
So I've just found that so many times where people, we all have our value and we all have our worth, and if we could all price ourselves at our value and our worth, you could never put a price on it because it's so high. Yeah. And that's kind of how I see where people are at, is people would rather look or just be where they want to be versus actually trying to work. So they place their value at such an excelled rate, and that's.
You know, for some reason, I feel like I should be skipping her when she talks too. But at the same time, I shouldn't, because when you compare it to the girl in the red dress, that girl, like, says her point then talks about her life. This girl just takes too long to get to the point. So I feel like I shouldn't skip it, but
it's
for
the
anyone
social
wondering why,
media
like,
age,
I
honestly,
allow her to
blame it
yap.
on that. Yeah.
So I've employed people from the
If
age of
anyone
16
even
up,
wondered
and
why
then
I allowed her
people
to yap.
like fresh out of high school. So it's a big range of people, and the younger people I always have to fire them, and not because I want to, because a lot steal. Like, I don't know, but a lot of people my age have stolen thousands of dollars from the cash register, and I'm like, damn, what the hell? Like, that's crazy.
That's a
And
lot.
so I have to fire. I don't like firing people, but I have to. And
You have to, no cap.
then even if it's not
can't be a
stealing,
ruler
they just,
and be loved.
it's like,
How do
I'm
I
sick
tell you?
today. I'm sick today. Okay, you're sick
They
every
do
day.
scam that.
Like, you don't even want to work here, you know? And so that's just like my personal experiences when I
Okay.
hire people like of that generation. It's just either calling in sick, don't want to work. Well, do you even want this job, or
That's not
or you're
wrong.
taking advantage of the job,
That's not right
and
at all.
then you're stealing from me. So all the people I employ right now, I do employ one great,
Yeah, it's not all of us.
younger, but
Yeah.
everyone else is older.
And
Yeah.
do you, I mean, with your like social media, maybe the comparing your lifestyle to others, do you
Yeah.
think that's what it is, or is there other things you've observed?
I don't genuinely know. I feel like it is a lot of social media. You want more. But I feel like it also has to do a lot with
I
parenting.
like her mind.
Like,
I wonder how
you can just
old
live at
she
home
is.
and it's fine.
I'm gonna guess like
And that's
she's
what
like
a lot of my
23,
employees are
24.
Like. The younger ones, like
But like, I
they're
love the
still
fact that
taken
she
care
has
of,
this
so they don't really have
experience
a
of an older
reason
woman.
to be there.
Yeah, I
of an
also
older
think
businesswoman.
it's I don't know. I feel the reason I place a lot of the blame on social media is because people's attention spans have drastically decreased. Where if we go back to like our parents' age, they would wake up and they would work all day because that's kind of all they had to do, right? But they had their times very planned out. They had to do something, they do it immediately. Procrastination wasn't as such a high level as it is now. But now with so many distractions in place, people work for 1 to 2 hours and then they're no longer stimulated. They get kind of bored. They don't really want to do it. Like that just need for hard work is just not there unless they're constantly being motivated.
The work's also often being done like on a phone or a computer.
Yeah, true.
So it's like a very distracting environment.
I agree.
Changed my mind.
Why'd you change your mind?
As you guys were talking, I started to think about people who I've hired, like work for hire type things, and I have noticed that their pricing will be ridiculously high, but I'll take a chance on them because I'm like, okay, you value yourself, and I believe in people like pricing at their value.
Okay.
But then a lot of the times I find myself disappointed with the product that I receive, and I'm like, you kind of overpromised and underdelivered, and I think that's because like
I love
I hate
this
to say it,
girl.
'cause I'm a part of Gen Z, but I think
Her from her parents being like, yo, you should be a kid for as long as you can, don't work yet, to her being like, look, if you want to charge crazy, I will play along, but if you can't deliver, then I'll get you gone. I don't know, I fuck with this girl. I just fuck with her.
I think it's because we are missing the grind time, the part where you like put your head down and you work on your skills. And I also believe in like free, then fee. And I think Gen Z are kind of just jumping straight to the fee, and you're like, yeah, this is gonna cost $1,000, and I'm like, okay, I'll take a chance, and then it's not $1,000 worth of work. So I think like for me, even though I'm in Gen Z, I didn't do that. Like I would get speaking engagements and I would do it for free, you know, because I was in my grind time and learning how to speak and making sure that I was giving people a really good event before I started to charge thousands of dollars to come and speak. But I think my generation is kind of like, as soon as they get the passion to do it, they're trying to charge the high prices, but then they're not delivering the value that they're charging. So when I think about work for hire, I'm like, yeah, I've had a couple situations where they were charging way too much for what they did, but I also believe in like, yeah, you should charge like at your skill level.
We got to bring in our disagreeers.
Of course. But I'm also Gen Z.
She's so fine.
Okay.
Look how I walk with that green.
I'm
Oh
also
my
Gen Z.
God, she's so fine. Yade.
Gen Z defender.
Damn.
I think where I primarily disagree is the fact that I firmly believe that a lot of companies will take advantage of your hard work, and a lot of companies will pay you a specific amount and expect you to do so much more than what your job title entails. And I think people's work really does get taken advantage of, especially in the workforce, especially in the minimum wage workforce, because you'll have someone doing the job of like their entire manager and still getting paid the amount of like a regular barista, just for example. So I don't think Gen Z is necessarily asking for more than what they deserve in terms of like working, regular jobs. I understand what you mean though, especially with a lot of businesses, especially with a lot of hair businesses specifically, people will charge extremely crazy amounts, like $700 for braids. So like I understand what you guys are saying, and I feel like that definitely
That reminds me of a woman I know. Her name is
resonates
Kencha.
more with
She only
like
charged like
niche
$120
works,
something.
like graphic
go to my
designers
sister
and
and
like
get it for
very
free.
things
Like
that
what?
don't necessarily require hard skills, or I guess hard skills. So I understand where you guys are coming from, but I do believe a lot of companies will take advantage of younger people because they think they're not hardworking and just like pay them less. So I think I can understand both sides, but that's where I stand.
Yeah. I feel like companies don't necessarily take advantage of younger people, but people in general. Because,
Type shit.
so I feel like with the younger people, with anyone, like if they don't think that their work is valued, then don't work, but still get a job.
Not everyone
And
has
I feel like
that
a lot of
luxury.
people just don't even have jobs these days. It's just a lot of playing video games at home.
That's me.
Because mom
That's
and dad
me.
are supporting them. That's what I see a lot.
Oh my God, that's
what I see from people who, because I work
Defend
in
me,
the
Shadi.
video game
Defend
industry
me.
as well,
Defend your man.
I see a lot of people who don't have jobs, not because they're not applying to them and applying themselves, but because the job market is terrible right now. It is extremely hard to get a job. Before I got my minimum wage job,
I wouldn't
I'd
say all
applied to
that,
like
but-
100 jobs on Indeed, on LinkedIn, and I
do
definitely
be
have
like
the
that.
credentials to do the work, but people aren't hiring. As much as people are saying, oh, we're hiring here, we're hiring here,
No
they're not
cap.
actually hiring. So
No
it's very
cap.
luck-based. It was even luck-based that I got
Oh.
the job that I got.
Type
So it's
shit.
not that people aren't actually looking for jobs, because a lot of people are. They just
Yeah.
cannot find jobs. And specifically
Yeah.
for video gamers, a lot of them are in the software engineer and just like computer science route. And that field is
Defend
completely
me,
saturated
baby.
right now. So it's really hard to
I'm
get
in
a
love.
job in that industry.
No, your
cooked.
statement definitely like opened my eyes because like while I'm driving down the street, I see like, you know, we're hiring, like every 5 seconds. But then I hear like you, like, no, they're actually not hiring. But why do you have the sign?
You know what else? You know what else is the thing? I've come let me collect my thoughts. I was working at a elderly home a couple of months ago, and we were understaffed. And I was having a conversation with the manager, and she was saying that they could only hire a certain amount of people, and they reached their cap of like people they could hire. In terms of I was doing the dietary aid, so like in that aspect, in that field, they could only hire a set number, and they got their number. But I'm like, that's stupid as fuck because we're understaffed, literally. Like if one person called out, that's GG. But me being me, I truly don't care. I'm like, look, man, I'm getting paid and I'm not working extra hard for your laziness. You know what I'm saying? Either you hire more people or you get what you get. You feel me? But I was like, that's fried. And then that got me thinking, how many other places work like that? In the sense of, look, man, we could only have 5 employees. Like, do with that information what y'all will. We could only have 5. Y'all keep talking about we need to hire more. And then you know what's crazy? When I was quitting, I convinced like 3 other people to quit too, cause like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a rebel. You know what I mean? I like to see people suffer. So I convinced a couple other people to quit. And right when I did that, this lady, the manager, she went and hired 3 new people like the next, like 2-3 days later. And I was like, so it was in your power. You legit, you weren't kidding when you said that you reached your cap. You just, like, it was in your power to hire more people. You just didn't want to. You just couldn't. Nah, bro.
On your window, you know?
Yeah.
I think I do want to say one thing that I cannot honestly admit is
These
I
two
feel
shouldn't
like
be
I
allowed
will
to talk.
never fully, unfortunately,
She just
be able
takes
to
too long.
understand your perspective just because from the way I've never
Okay.
worked a job. And
Okay.
so being able to hear it is really refreshing
Okay.
and like really opens my eyes
I love
to like
that.
kind of
I
the
love
stark
that.
differences where we were like, oh, $15 an hour is enough. And you guys were like, no, it's not. But it's like, realistically speaking, I've never been able to experience that to understand it. So the way I think is going to be kind of misconstrued in the same way, like for us, we're always trying to hire new people. And we're like, it's so hard to find people to hire. Whereas you guys are like, well, the industry, like it's really hard to get a job out here. So I think that's
That's
one
cool.
thing that for me, I'm just
This
kinda going
concept
through in
is
my head,
so
like,
cool
oh,
where
wow.
like the
This is
workers
really
and
awesome.
Same
employers.
exact way as a business owner. Like I'm hiring, and I'll post it and I'll advertise for it on the Instagram, on Indeed, and nobody applies. And I'm just like, hello, like what's going on here? But then everyone's complaining about not having a job. So I'm like, maybe it's just the different types of industries we're looking at, or maybe we're just not looking in the right areas, the right spaces. But there are always jobs. You just really have to do your work to try to find them. And so what actually works really well is when people actually physically come in and say, are you hiring? And then I'm like, yes, I'm hiring. And it works out like that.
I feel like a lot of
That's
this
the
is like,
glitch. I've done that before too.
reminded me of the
They
job
just
I
hand me
had
a
in
piece
high
of paper
school.
and tell
I
me to
worked
go
at a
online.
restaurant, and
Alright,
speaking
bro.
about like taking
man.
advantage of like the younger workers and things like that. When I applied there online and I got the job, and I applied to be a busser there, and by the end of it, I wasn't like increased in pay, but I was also a host, a barista, taking to-go orders, running food, and answering phone calls, making everything. The only thing I couldn't do, but they asked me to do every single day was take people's orders. And I said, I'm not 18, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do it. They had me like doing things I really wasn't supposed to do.
They do be
and
doing
I
that.
never like saw like a pay increase or anything like that for that reason. The only reason I would get a pay increase is if like the minimum wage in the state went up because I worked there for like 3 years. But
That's sad. You know, y'all know I'm like the worst worker I know. Like on God, I'm so bad. But every single job I've been in, like I've always got a raise. I'm really not allowed to complain. They be letting me get away with so much. Come in late. I don't be calling out, but I be coming in like 15, 10 minutes, 30 an hour late. You feel me? The simple way that I always get a raise is just like I just form a connection with the boss. Like our connection is so good that like they can't fire me. They don't want to fire me. They love me. And it's like since they love me, like they're kind of like blindsided. And they're like, here, they'll make excuses for me, right? Say I come in late, all right? They might be like, nah, it's okay, it happens. If someone else comes in late, they're gonna be like, yo, like get your shit together, or else I'm gonna have to fire you because why are you coming in late? And so I was like, damn. One person, I'm very disobedient too. And I heard one boss be like, oh, you're like the best listener I know. Like you just, like when I tell you do something, you just do it. And I'm like, that don't sound like me at all. I'm a dickhead. Like I say no. I literally tell the manager, like the boss says no. I don't know. I really think it's just about the connection you make with the people. Because people like you, they'll go out their way to make sure you're straight.
And so they did that for all the girls that worked there and they called them like our little group. There was our group, which was high school girls, and they would do that with all of the girls that worked there. And I loved that job, it was great, but thinking back on it, it's like, yeah, I was doing things that I didn't apply for, and like they didn't say, oh, now that you're gonna be making the drinks, like we're gonna, up your thing, instead of just, I applied to just wipe down the tables. And so I'm like, here I am doing that. And then with hiring with them, it was like, I would see people come in all the time, hand in their resumes, and they would literally tell me to just go put them away. They're like, we're not gonna look at them, like we don't care. And they would ask us girls, do you have friends that wanna work here? And that's who they would hire. It's just really different, thank you for saying you don't know like it because you haven't experienced it. And it's like, yeah, that like the experiences can be weird like that sometimes. And it's like, I'm very fortunate to have worked there because I believe everyone should have that experience at least once, because now I don't. When I'm like in a restaurant and a server maybe is rude to me, I'm like, you know what? I've been there. I know what it's like, and I'm just gonna let you do that because I have had some horrible days in the industry of restaurant before. So yeah.
Going back to what you guys said about them taking advantage of people. My first job, I worked at Taco Bell. I was hired to be a cashier. They had me bussing tables. They had me cleaning up the poop in the bathroom. They had me. You know what? Doing all that.
Despite
and this was back in
white
2015.
country people's racism, I love their accent.
The minimum wage wasn't as high as it is now, but they didn't increase it. They didn't do nothing.
A country person talk for hours.
And I don't think that's fair.
It's a shame.
Like at all.
It's a shame.
Because you hired me to do this specific thing. How are you gonna find the time to train me to do all these other things?
We'll reset and go to the next part.
Okay.
I want a husband who earns more than me.
No, nigga, I'm not gay. Fuck. I guess if I were to change it up, it'd be like, would I want my wife making more money than me? And honestly, I don't understand why niggas on the internet care that their girl makes more than them. Like, I don't know why that's a blow to their pride or anything like that. My shawty making more than me. Go you. I'm gonna be the stay-at-home dad. I'll be the passenger princess, baby. You. Nah, but it don't matter.
Step forward if that's true for you.
Looking back at it. Oh my God, look, my girl stayed in the back. Oh my God. That means she don't mind, bro. She don't mind getting paid. I love that. Bro, they need to put her Instagram in the bio. I'll check out the end of the video.
I say that I want a husband that earns more than me because I'm just me. I want to be a mom and I want to take time off to raise my children. And I just, I already know that the job that I want to have.
No, babe.
I already know the job I want to have is going to be in the medical field. hopefully,
the
and I
betrayal.
always say that if it doesn't work
betrayal.
out, I'll marry someone I find in medical school.
It's all good, babe. I'm gonna be
Myself,
rich. I'm gonna be a
if I don't get
millionaire.
married
So it don't
directly,
even
I'll,
matter.
You know, have money, do my thing. But like, once I get married, I do want to have a period of my life where I can finally relax. I feel like I haven't been able to, and then like when I have kids, I want to be there for those fundamental like first years of their life.
And I can
feel
respect
like
that. I
every
actually
guy
love
I've
that.
ever dated has had less money than me, and every one of those guys, unfortunately,
Cheated
kind
on
of took
you.
it out on me. Like they didn't like that I was more successful or had more money than them. It was always like a fight, and it doesn't
I
need
don't
to
know
be a
why.
fight.
See,
But I kind
men
of learned
suck.
like
For that
I guess
alone,
it's that ego
men
masculinity,
suck.
or they
Yup.
want to be better. They want to be like the man, you know, like the
I'm
olden days.
seeing it, bro.
And it just never works
Tell
out
him,
for
tell
me
him to go,
because
tell him to
they're
go
always,
arm wrestle
like,
a gorilla.
trying to like overstep my
you know.
shine, and it's like I'm not trying to outshine you. Like you don't need to do that. But it's
That's
it always comes down to like the men want to feel like the man, and so if they
And that's
don't
a
feel like the
damn
man in
shame.
a relationship, they don't really want to be in the relationship. So it's really hard. It's really hard to date when you are more
Ladies.
successful than the average Joe.
You
Unfortunately.
just keep
Men are
picking loser
intimidated
men.
by successful women.
They
Yeah,
are. Men are
unfortunately,
intimidated
everyone
by
I've
it.
dated.
The shade. I think for me, like, okay, this one might be a little bit controversial, might ruffle some feathers.
Okay.
But so I was in a relationship with a guy who actually it wasn't like a case where he wanted to step on my toes. I think he was just overly supportive. But what
Okay.
ends up happening when you have a woman that makes a lot of money and a man that makes next to nothing is
That's it.
resentment grows on both sides. Because
Why?
naturally, as a woman, your role is to provide in the sense of taking
Indeed.
care. And a
Indeed.
man's role is to provide in the
Indeed.
sense of taking control in a
Indeed.
sense.
Indeed. Indeed.
So what happened is I was taking care of everything and paying for everything and planning everything and doing everything.
Okay.
And so I started to look at him less of a man to where conversations, like we'd never like yell at each other, but it'd just be like, you start resenting, like it gets disrespectful, you don't really care for them as much. And then on his end, I feel like it was a constant trying to prove that he was a man, trying to prove that he could actually play that role, but it was hard for him to ever do that because he literally could never do that. And it was just a case where heads just kept clashing. And it just, I don't think a relationship where a woman makes more than a man will ever work. My aunt
Hold up, bro. I have to give that time to like to process within me. I feel like that was very moving. You know. If I had any opinions on that, I'd have to say, look. Let's keep it a buck. If you are a male, and like the worth of your character is judged based off how much money you have, or I'm gonna just keep it on money. Let me not go into other avenues. But if your worth is based off how much money you have as a man, nigga, you're failing. Like yes, society, life has kind of established itself as like men lead, women follow type shit, women support, but it doesn't have to be that way. You feel me? Like masculine and feminine roles don't have to simply be like women clean, men work. It literally could be any way. But if that nigga if she truly felt like, damn, like you like, you a mosquito. You feel me? Like you're not a man. Like if like she really got that feeling from him, I'ma say there were other aspects of that guy's character that just weren't it. Maybe he wasn't inspiring. You feel me? Maybe he couldn't lead in ways other than just financially. You know, maybe she literally maybe there was a lack of communication. Maybe like, cause I'm seeing it as like money is not the only factor of like a healthy relationship. If she's working hard, go her. But I really want to say that we're not getting the full story. There has to be more missing, because I simply just, it's not that I don't agree with what she just said. It's just more like I can't agree with it until like, only because I believe there's more. You feel me? We're being.
always told me.
L
she
guy
said,
though.
Don't
Guy.
marry for money.
I'm a
But
gold
go to
digger,
where
so
money
like.
is and marry
If
for
I-
love. So,
That's shrewd and good advice. Why did you hesitate?
Personally, all I want is a successful spouse. Who
Are you
makes
trying to
more
manifest me,
doesn't
baby?
really matter
Aaliyah, you trying to
me.
manifest me?
But at the end of the day, I do want princess treatment, if you understand. Yeah. So
God.
it would. I feel
My
like
lady can have whatever
to
she
get
needs.
princess treatment, you would typically have to go for someone who makes more than you. Obviously, that's not hard since I'm a minimum wage worker. But
No,
I
God.
would prefer someone who is able to take care of me. But I don't think in the future I would necessarily have to go for someone who made more than me, but I would prefer to, just because I would like to be taken care of. But also, just me personally, it's sometimes hard to accept things and hard to accept when people want to spoil me and like when people want to buy things for me. So I don't think, I'm just kind of like in the middle. Like I would prefer someone who made more than me, but at the same time, it would be hard for me to accept like them just taking care of me, because I don't think I've just had too many people in my life to just
Swoop you out from under
yeah
your feet.
yeah.
I think where we
never
place
met
the
me yet,
blame
baby.
is the
It's sad.
finances, when really we need to place the blame on security in oneself. So everyone does like
Type
security
shit.
and being
Type
able to
shit.
make money. When I have found, even when I do date guys that are making less than me, if they are a confident man,
Type
they
shit.
don't care about how much money I have. They don't care about what I do. Like, they're gonna make sure they pay for everything. I won't even know how much money they could have more or less than me, but they understand their role as a man and not their role in terms of I need her to make more or less. So I think the issue is insecure men are getting with women that they revere at first and then later resent, instead of just going after a woman understanding my role is to take care of her no matter her position in life.
Could you envision a partnership where a man wasn't the financial provider, like you were the sole financial provider, but he had security and contributed in a role that was important to you? Is that something you can envision?
Well, I don't think I could ever have a house husband, but I do think.
You couldn't have a house husband. And why
Yeah,
not?
but I think he would still need to be the sole provider, whether or not I bring in more or not. Obviously, like, I would add and aid in the finances, but if I'm the breadwinner and also the sole provider, I don't think that can work. But if I'm the breadwinner but he's the sole provider, it's just, I would obviously still do my part in taking care of the household and the children and whatnot. But
My question
I don't know,
is,
just it's not how I was
where's the
raised.
I
logic in
actually
that?
kind of disagree with that statement because I wouldn't mind
Thank
having
you.
a stay-at-home husband. I honestly
Thank
wouldn't.
you.
But the thing is, I just want him
Thank.
to like.
Did my girl
mind having a
co-sign?
stay-at-home husband. I honestly wouldn't.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Perfection. Perfection.
But the thing is, I just want him to like be a man and not like, you know, not think that I'm outshining him, not make it a controversial thing and I'm the man, I need to be providing, because I don't care about if you're the man and you need to be providing. That's not what I care about. I care about who you are as a person, and if you're gonna start acting like, well,
Type shit.
you know, I need to start doing more or I need to be better than you, then that's where it gets tricky. And then also with the whole like, if you're gonna like stay at home and do that, that's totally fine with me. But at least like take care of me then in terms of like
Type
emotionally
shit.
and like
Yup.
be there emotionally for me and not just lay on the couch, you know.
That's it. A connection,
2K all
like
day.
Yeah, no, I would
play
not
2K
like that.
all
not
day.
at all.
Don't worry, baby. I don't play
Well,
2K.
I was going to comment on your
play Mortal
first
Kombat.
controversial
I
statement,
have
but you already
culture.
recanted it, so it's okay. But I was going to disagree when you said it absolutely can't work. I was going to say, like, it can work.
Everything about this girl is just like perfect. Her mindset, you feel me? Everything about it, I just love it.
There
Perfection.
is going to be the resentment aspect, but I think that's where communication comes in, where you have to sit down as adults and express how I can be better in certain ways. Because even if you don't bring in
Type
more money
shit.
than me, or you can't step up financially, there's
I wonder if
other
any of them are
ways
gonna say
that you
the-
can make
if
me
they're
feel
gonna say
secure.
dick, like-
So if that's, I need more support so that I can go hard. Yes, I need more support, or I need that TLC when I come
I didn't
home.
even talk about dick yet. Y'all know. Oh my god. Look, when a girl is like emotionally invested in you, she don't even mind spending. Like I've seen women who have been broke, and then offered me their like last dollar just so I could get gas to go to school or something. Just because they were fucking with me, and it's like, damn. How do I say no? I need it.
or I want to make sure that the house is clean, you know, when I come home. So I think there's other ways that the man can support you, even if it's not financially.
No cap.
But I do want someone that makes more, just because of the fact that I think that, especially in the Black community, we deserve to be able to be in our feminine energy. And I think a lot of times the woman is typically the one that becomes the man.
No
and we're
cap.
like on top of it. We're always making all the decisions and trying to be the woman at the same time and the nurturer. And I think we deserve to focus just on nurturing. And so that's why I would prefer to be in that feminine, my man's making the money seat. But I definitely think that it can work.
Okay, we're gonna bring in, thanks for being patient, bring in our disagreeer.
Okay, I've been in a relationship where I was the one who made the most money. I was paying for everything for at least the first 6 months. And I honestly didn't mind it. In order for a successful relationship to work, you know, including money, it takes 50-50. Like, say I get the water bill, you get the trash bill or whatever. I just like taking care of the people that I'm with.
Why do you think that relationship ended?
You want the truth?
Yes.
He cheated on me.
Oh no.
With my best friend of 17
man.
years.
Don't fear,
You
man.
lost both of them.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, that's so stupid.
And the thing is, I was still coming home. I was still cleaning the apartment. I was still cooking him dinner. I was still doing everything, and he still did what he did.
I'm so sorry to
Usually
hear
how it
that.
goes.
It's okay.
I think that's kind of what the issue is sometimes when we decenter ourselves from like a traditional like relationship, like the man being the sole provider, and we kind of explore other options like the 50-50. You kind of run into like these really crappy men who just take advantage of that, making it kind of hard to explore. Well, maybe I wouldn't mind taking care of this person. And I think that's kind of where I'm at too, because it's just like, I wouldn't mind taking care of someone and I wouldn't mind making more, but I also want them to take care of me. And it doesn't necessarily have to be financially, but just like take care of me. And you know, some guys just don't do that. Some guys just aren't worth it. I mean,
No, guys, baby, I'm definitely worth it. Although if I'm like locking in, like for real, like I feel like this whole nonsense of what do you bring to the table? That conversation is so stupid to me. We both should be bringing our all, like 100. There should be no like, oh, I do this, you do that. No, because sometimes, bro, we're human, bro. Everyone breaks down. Everyone gets in, like, life happens to everyone. And to have your support system be there, ready to pick up, ready to carry, ready to get you, like, back stable, is like, it's just beautiful. So, like, the whole idea of, like, oh, like, the man works and then I'll take care of the kids, to me is foolish. It's like, bro.
yeah.
Obviously.
Screw him.
Yeah.
Screw your ex-boyfriend. Screw your best friend.
Do you think that you feel any? Do you think that you feel any resentment about the fact that you did take care of him, you did do a lot for him, and he betrayed you?
Honestly, no. You know, everything happens for a reason. You know, everything.
Okay.
There's a set time and place for everything to happen, and everything happens for a reason. So I just took it with a grain of salt, and here I am today.
Type shit.
That's a very healthy look. How do you guys?
Type shit. That was great, actually.
Zen,
Yeah.
like,
Put respect on her
control
name.
you've got there. Okay, we're gonna reset. $15 an hour is enough for minimum wage.
Man, as a nigga who refused to make that, no, it's not enough. Well, let me stop there. I think, yes, it is, but a lot of us are like financially illiterate. So like, it really depends on the perspective. Because if you're like a high school, like a kid, like you don't got no bills, you ain't buying shit. Your money's not going for you to. So like, you probably be grateful for 15. But once you actually start paying shit, it's like no, I need more. Like, how do I tell you? Like, yes, here's all the bills I want to pay, but now like, it takes me more weeks of like saving in order to like afford this trip, more weeks of saving in order to afford this item, more weeks of saving in order to afford this event. You feel me? And so it's like, 15 is just not enough, bro. It is, but like it's not enough, bro. How do I tell you?
Agree or step forward?
I like that.
Yeah,
The
I think
employers.
that's such a difficult question because I think, who really decides the minimum amount that somebody should make, and then I think also it's kind of different coming from us when we haven't ever really experienced having to work a minimum wage job. But the reason that I said it is enough is because I think it is just supposed to be something that gets you in the door to be able to afford the base level of living. But a lot of times I think people kind of just get used to, okay, I should be around these numbers. Or, you get a job, you enjoy your coworkers, you get used to it. There's nothing that really propels you unless it's something serious in life to push forward and say, okay, well, now I'm going to find a new job or move forward from this. I think a lot of people in this life get comfortable and they get complacent, so it doesn't allow them to move. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like talking about coming from just myself here.
So wait, is she saying like, if you get a job that's 15 an hour, you're not meant to like keep that? Like, did it just for now so everything could like work out, right? So everything could be paid, and then you could find bigger and better. I can fuck with that. I can fuck with that. I can. I like that mindset.
Like right when I graduated high school, obviously I had no college experience, no work experience, whatever. But I like refused to work a minimum wage job. So I went on Indeed and I looked at any job that I could get that doesn't require all this stuff. And I became a nanny, and for like a more well-off family. And I got the job, and I didn't have any experience and stuff, but I made way over minimum wage. So it is possible to just not have any experience, do your out-of-the-box research, and find something interesting to do.
Bring in our disagreeers.
Well, I have a lot to say about this one.
Let's go on the
I
red
believe
top.
that minimum wage should be increased because it's not a livable wage, for one. You cannot live off of $15 or $16 an hour in California. You can't really live off $15 or $16 an hour in any state, for that matter. If you worked a 40-hour job,
my girl's
hard work,
educated. Oh my God.
on minimum wage, you would be making around $2,500 a month. And that's not enough to even get an apartment in California. I mean, you may be able to find something with like roommates, maybe get a deal for like, I don't know, $1,000 a month, but it's not a livable wage. You can't get groceries, you can't take care of yourself.
Intelligent.
I mean, luckily,
Just look how we balance out. She matches, she takes my ignorance and just, you feel me? Just elevates, educating me, teaching me. Oh, she's so perfect.
some people can stay with their parents and save up their money, but for other people, it's just not possible because other people get kicked out at 18. Other people get kicked out for being, gay. So it's just like people don't have the option and the comfortability to just survive off of minimum wage, especially with one job. That's why you see so many families with multiple jobs for minimum wage, because it just does not cover your living expenses at all.
When you say like, oh, you work a minimum wage job so that you can get out of that job to work a better job, how do you think people are going to get out of their minimum wage job to get another job?
So I guess one tiny example is you'll work a minimum wage job to gain enough money to get licenses and certificates. Like if you want to become a real estate agent, it's not that much money, and you can use that, the money that you're making at that job to put it towards getting a real estate license, and then boom, then you have all these.
Not everyone has that mindset, but that's
real estate
actually
is a very saturated industry where a lot of people fail. A lot of people don't have the skills necessary to be a successful real estate agent, and since I said it is very saturated, it's very hard to be successful in a situation like that. And when you're working a minimum wage job to be successful,
she looks like she just wants to like snuff her. Whoa, look at her face. She like yo, she like, yup, it always be the broke bitches. Yup, keep talking, sis. Keep talking. That's why you're getting $10 an hour, not even 15. That's why you're working 3 jobs, bitch. Keep talking.
In a situation like that. And when you're working a minimum wage job, you don't have a lot of room to just save money, okay? everyone says that you're one step away or you're one medical issue away from being homeless, and that is absolutely the case. I'm not sure if you guys have good insurance or if you guys even visit the doctor very often. I don't know your life, but it's very expensive to
doctor's
get
dumb
anything.
expensive.
Just to get a pair of
Oh
glasses,
my
you can
God.
be like $300. So there are so many living expenses
I had to get
that
these. Like
is
they're real,
overlooked
but like that
when
should
you
cost
don't
me like
work a minimum
300.
wage job
Granted, I could have got one for
that
free,
go
but
into
I
like,
much prefer to
working
have
a minimum wage job.
$15 an hour
Harry
is
Potter
also
style.
before taxes.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely not livable, and also with inflation, even I look at the prices of groceries and I'm like, let me take this off, let me take that off,
Yes.
because
Yo.
it's just ridiculous. So I think
That
the
shit.
minimum wage should match what the prices are looking like. I don't think it should just be like, yeah, you live off of that and we're going to keep increasing the prices of everything.
Right.
That's just not, it's not possible. So I think it's a no-brainer. Like, it's absolutely not enough.
$7.25 was the established minimum wage in 2009. It is 2024 and it has not moved. Now, they move in California, it moves almost like every year up, but so do the cost of living. Okay, when they actually raised the minimum wage for fast food workers to $20, a lot of the fast food chain owners, in return, upped their prices. They cut the hours of the people who worked the minimum wage jobs. They just do everything to keep poor people down.
No cap.
Even with what you said, when you said you can like get one job and then look for others, or you can chase your dream while you're working the job. That's always my advice. Like, you know, have a job to be able to sustain your living arrangements and the bills that it costs you, while also on the side like doing what you love. But I think at $15 an hour, that's really, really hard, because you also need money to be able to pour into your business or pour into your side hustle. So if it's not even enough for groceries, you're definitely not going to be able to, let me start this new venture on the side. So I think
totally
you have to
agree.
have enough to be able to do both.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like $15 an hour, if that's all you're doing, that's not a livable wage.
A question I have for, you're all business owners, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have employees who work for your businesses for minimum wage?
Yeah, no, I actually don't pay any of my employees minimum wage. It's obviously higher than that, and I could pay the minimum wage if I wanted to, but I respect my employees too much to do that. But like what you said with the fast food example,
you.
like, you know, if the minimum wage increases, then they just increase, you know, what they have to sell.
Or
which,
they decrease hours.
It depends on the business. Like, for example, the meat industry, I cannot just raise the prices because they're just going to go buy it from a different meat distributor, and then I'm out of business. So we do have to keep our prices the same all throughout, and that's just how it is. And the meat business is very competitive with prices, especially since we're wholesale and we're selling to restaurants and stuff. So the price always, we have to try to get the price as low as we possibly can in order to actually sell.
How about you? What are the size of your teams?
Oh, my.
Either one.
We decrease every single month, unfortunately.
Wow.
But I think right now we're, it's a hard one because we have so many extensions. But I'd say on average within the last couple months, it's like 15 or so. And that's because we have in-house legal counsel, in-house sales and all that. But we unfortunately have to make the decision sometimes where I've also found that sometimes a team can be smaller but mightier. And so we've decreased on that end. But I pay everyone over industry average, and then we have commission-based incentives and bonuses. Because I just believe that everyone should enjoy the same quality.
Where can I find employers like these?
And I always want to put people on the right track to get there to where they can live because I think life is so great when you do have that sort of financial freedom. So I want to put them as close as possible as I can to get them there. And you know, sometimes people graduate from there and do better, which I love. And sometimes people stay with us and they're able to do amazing things as well. So I love it. I was gonna say to the question, I think a lot of times we focus so much on the pay. And obviously you're gonna have the absolute extremes where it's like, this may be super unaffordable or this is very affordable. But I think where a lot of people mess up is not even finances. I think it's time management. I think people will go work 8 to 12 hours a day. Maybe you sleep for 8, so we're looking at like, I don't know, 16 to 20 hours. And with that free time, they kind of use it to rest, which is where you should. But in life where you are trying to, when you are trying to get somewhere, it's kind of like when you're going up a hill. the journey up is going to be very difficult. You're going to get some cuts and bruises, and it's going to hurt. But when you finally get to the top of that mountain, it's like, okay, all of that was worth it. And I think that's where a lot of people mess up, is their time management is off. So even when they do have something that's putting them in a stable or great situation, wherever it is, there's so much stress that's in tune with that they're not able to effectively manage their time to put more towards something else.
Okay, we got to reset. The rich have a moral responsibility to help the poor.
With this, I say no, nigga. Fuck. Look, if you want to, by all means, help us. We would love the support. But saying, like, by force you have to, like, fuck no. Fuck no. And I'm one of the poor. But I just know when I'm rich, like, if I do help, it's gonna be like out of the kindness of my heart. Like, yeah, I want to see, you know what I'm saying, niggas elevate from their current position. I don't like this, man. I don't like niggas who say yes to this, because, like, I understand, bro. We're all suffering. We all need, like, support. But, like, to be so entitled, to be like, yeah, no, you have to help me, that's beyond foolish, nigga. Get up. Like, as that girl was saying, like, y'all niggas, y'all might work 18 hours. Y'all might work 8 hours a day, sleep for 10 hours, and then with the rest of your time, like, instead of doing something that's gonna, like, elevate you and get you to a rich status, y'all choose to rest and recover. Which is nothing wrong with that. Just know that, like, there's nothing wrong with that, but just know that you could have used that time to become rich instead of, you know what I'm saying? Like take accountability, like, nigga, like, take accountability.
Agree or step forward?
There's nothing wrong with being broke, but it is wrong staying broke.
Okay.
And my girl walked up to...
The impact you leave on other people is the true meaning of your legacy, not how much money you make.
And I accept her for being her.
But I think
knew
it's
she was
tricky
going to walk
because I know
up.
a lot of people would probably argue, like, okay, well, if I was poor, but I was able to become rich, then you should be able to do that too, and I don't have to give you my money. But I do think that what makes the world a better place is when you can see someone struggling and help them and understand that it'll come back to you in some way, shape, form, or another, and not feel, I guess, so stingy with your, it's just, it could never be wired in me to not help somebody if I see them in a position where they should be helped.
Personally, I don't think it's necessarily the riches or a rich person's obligation, or I don't think it's necessary for them to specifically care for the poor. I think it's the government's responsibility to make sure that their citizens are okay. And
yeah, see that
they don't do enough. And I feel like
not at all.
At the end of the day, the government kind of creates a divide, and I feel like it's divided into 3 sections, and I feel like at the very middle, the middle class people kind of hate both sides, in a sense.
Okay.
They hate the rich people because they're extremely rich, and they hate the poor people because they're poor, and they're taking all of the assistance that they can't get, and that middle class people, they just work extremely hard and they can't really get anything, because I feel like a lot of rich people and people with a lot of money, they get a lot of handouts. They get a lot of free things. Like, say if you were signed up for, you know, like American Express, and they give you like 20% cash back. I don't think that's actually how much they give, but you get more stuff.
It's true. When it's true. Life throws you bro. I've realized this too, and it's so cool. But when you're winning, life just kind of keeps throwing you alley-oops, and it's like, what, every day, like, and all you could really do is like catch and dunk, slam that bitch in the rim. I don't know why, but life actually just gives you alley-oops when you're winning. Versus when you're losing, it's like you don't get shit until, you know what I'm saying, you level up. And after you start getting everything. And whether you choose to accept it or not, it's you.
As opposed to when you're poor. And there are just a lot more expenses, I believe, as a poor person that we overlook when we're rich. But I don't think it's necessarily a rich person's place, or not even place, but I don't think they have an obligation to help poor people. Should they? Yes.
I think some of the richest people I know are some of the worst people I know, and some of the saddest, miserable, depressed people I know. And it mostly comes down to, like, they're just not helping anyone but themselves.
I think help is like, it could be anything. It may be, okay, I'm gonna help you with one thing this month, you know, but I'm not gonna help you every month of the year.
Okay,
I feel like you can also give back in different ways. Like, you can go and speak to you know, the people who are trying to build businesses. You can
Type
speak
shit.
to them for free and give them
Type shit.
the resources and the knowledge that you
Experience,
have. And I feel like
type
I
shit.
do that a lot, where I'll talk to people who are, they're like, I have this idea and I really want to start a business, and I won't charge them, you know, to tell them the secrets that I have. And I feel like that's still you helping the poor.
That's helping. That's
without
beyond
you just
helping.
throwing money everywhere at everybody. So I
that's
think
so
it's
much
subjective
helping.
to how you want to help.
What?
A lot of people that are at the top can't even see far enough.
See that
to
girl's
understand
mindset? She just
who the
perfect,
people
bro.
at the bottom are and like how like what they're going through. And even for me, like trying to understand one side, but then being on another side, it's a hard battle to kind of figure out.
Donate what you can to like the people that really need like help to get out of their situation. Maybe that is that 1% that's helping them get to where their potential
Look
is.
at the black
And,
girl when she said it.
like, I mean, I see like I'm from nowhere, like a rich family at all, and my mom gives money back like
She said
a lot. Like she
that
gives what she
1%.
can, and I'm always telling her like, Mom, like maybe you shouldn't, you know, like donate that or whatever. And she's like, you know what, it'll be provided back for me. Like what I give, like she believes that it'll be provided back to her because she just has a beautiful heart. But like, and so seeing that my mom's able to do that, I know that people that are way well off than her have way more than they can definitely do that too. So it's like that's how I feel about it. Just
My mom always told me, she always said, if you don't give when you don't have, you won't give when you do. And I always thought about that like through my entire life. And so that was kind of my motivation. Because I know it's going to pay me back in someday, but you have to instill those habits.
Shout out to moms though, because my mom actually did something similar. Because like I said, like very low income background, but over the pandemic, we would actually like make hot dogs and like food for the homeless people, and we would like get stuff from the like food from the dollar store, and then we would like set up somewhere at like a random business that was shut down because it was during the pandemic, and we would just kind of like talk to them, and we would like hear their stories, and it just kind of even opened my eyes so much more to like, wow, this is really your life. This is how you got there. Like what the media pushes out about homeless people and just all sorts of like lower income people, you just don't know the half of it. Because someone I spoke to who he actually couldn't keep a job because he had seizures and he just wasn't able to support himself. And
Where the
you
government
know, not
assistance
everyone
there.
has like a family and that can help them in situations like that. So I feel like when you open your eyes to having like a little more empathy and a little more compassion to others, if you do things like that, that didn't cost more than like $20. Okay, we're not asking for like hundreds of thousands of dollars for people, and just doing something as simple as that really helps people. It really made people feel like they had someone. And I feel like if people in better financial situations were more keen to doing more specific things that help people like that, then we would be in a better position, because it would also open their eyes to what life is on the other side. Because
I feel like some of the most giving people I know are people that are like middle class, because they know what like it's like to be like lower than that.
yeah.
This is going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to say currently I have $100 or less in my bank account. If that's true, you come in. Now I'll say currently I have $1,000 or less in my bank account. If that's true, come in. So you come in when it's true for you.
We're
Does that make
pocket
sense?
watching.
And then you'll just hang out here till we have
Don't do
everybody.
that to my babes, bro. You gonna embarrass her.
Currently in my bank account, I have $100 or less.
That's me. Let me actually, I can't see my phone. My charger broke, so I can't even see. But I'm pretty sure I have like 14 cents. Nigga. Oh, that's sad. Country girl.
All right. Currently in my bank
my
account,
baby got
I have
$200.
$1,000 or less.
Oh.
I have $10,000 or less.
What pocket watching?
1 million or less.
Oh shit! She's the brokest rich
10
person.
million?
Oh fuck! I was really hoping one of them would have. Oh, so cool.
Wow, you guys are balling like that. Good for you.
No
It's just
cap.
like, I don't know. It's kind of like a stark divide. It's just like, wow, people really have a lot of money in their bank account, and like I'm broke as hell right now. You know, I don't know. It's just very interesting to see.
No cap.
I think a fun fact that I've always like known, especially recently, is that 70% of Americans have $1,000 or less in their savings account. So I think a lot of times when we see, like you said, like the stark divide or contrast, and wow, these people have a lot versus maybe I'm one of the only ones that don't, it's actually a very common thing, you know?
I think it made me extremely grateful.
No
Just seeing the difference between the $100 and where I sit now. But I have been at the $100 and I know what that feels like. But it also made me grateful that I was able to put in the work no matter how hard it got
such a
or
good
how
person,
challenging
bro.
it
I
was
like
for me
her.
to see the other side.
I
When
like
you're
her
looking at the
personality.
$100,
She's
you're
cool.
like, I'm never gonna get to the place that I need to get, but I'm grateful that I was able to.
What do you think was the difference for you to finally take off just financially?
I think it was belief in myself and also not letting the family members or the friends around me who kind of got stuck and not knowing how do I get to the other side, and that kind of holds you back from actually taking the first steps. And for me, I started really young when I was 15, so I didn't have a lot of those setbacks in my mind of like, I can't do it or I've never seen it. I was like, let me just take the first step and see where it goes. I took it upon myself to go to a local like event. It was kind of like you set up your table, you put your products on it, and you kind of just pitch and sell to anybody who attends the event. So that's how I started. So I think the difference was like me just having that belief that anything is possible. Whereas when you're older, you kind of have already seen the struggle and you're like, I can't get there. It's no point, you know? But I was like, what if I just try and let me just put myself out there and see what the difference will make?
Would you say that you had a lot of family members or just like people around you in your circle that had a lot of backlash for what you were pursuing?
Yeah, because it's kind of like you wanted to set them up to be able to do that without all of the challenges that I faced, especially me being a woman of color. It's also like, I don't come from a background of having resources and having mentors and having people that have already built successful businesses. So I think kind of looking at your family members, you're like, wow, how did you not get to do this as well, you know?
Yeah.
So I think they kind of faced the backlash of like not being able to help me get there.
So I would be lying if I said I didn't have my grandpa's help. I took over my grandpa's business, but when I did jump into that, it wasn't doing anywhere near what it is right now. And then with those opportunities and with my grandpa's knowledge, I was able to start my own business from that and start like a whole array of different journeys throughout that help.
The jump from like 1,000 to 10,000, like I was like, oh, because I was like, I'm like barely over 1,000, and then like when I come out to like 10,000, I was like, guys, I don't even have anywhere near $10,000. Like I've never had that in my life. It's inspiring, and I mean, like I look up to people like that, and I mean, it would be a dream of mine to be sitting on that side, but
We will eventually.
right,
It'll
right.
be right there.
Yeah.
So that's all the time we have. I want to thank you all for participating. It's been really interesting to hear all your perspectives. But that's
Yo, I gotta turn the light off. It's actually hurting my eyes. Oh my god, I have a migraine, y'all. But yo, subscribe. www. I wonder if they're gonna do the guy version soon. Yeah, maybe actually.